Did you ever debate Tucker Carlson?
Absolutely not.
No.
I would if he wanted to, but he would never debate me.
Tucker, debate him. I wouldn't debate you, but
Mhm.
there you go. So what do you think about now? Tucker leaves Fox and starts his own thing, and I believe he's number one now, like number one
Mhm.
podcast, I guess, besides Rogan, maybe.
Yeah, I think Rogan, Candace Owens, Rogan, Tucker, and like the Hawk Tua girl. I think all are trading
Really,
places in the top 5 right now or something.
really.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think about that? Like he's obviously got a huge following, and he's going out there saying a lot of stuff.
I think it's really disappointing. Yeah.
Really?
Disappointing.
Okay.
I think an issue that I have is, for as much as I used to disagree with conservatives,
Mm-hmm.
America had a lot of faults with our response to 9/11. I would say that some of the military conflict that came after that was probably not okay. Things like lying about weapons of mass destruction and everything related to
100%.
Iraq,
Yeah.
and some of a lot of the Islamophobia that we engaged in, I think, was not okay to people that were citizens of this country.
Mm-hmm.
However, when we got attacked on 9/11, it wasn't a thought in anybody's mind that we were going to be anything less than unified against whoever George Bush said did this. Okay, George Bush could have said, Kenya attacked us, and we're like signing up to let's bomb in Kenya. Whatever you say, George.
Yeah.
I think that if we got hit with an attack today, I don't even think the country would have a unified response.
Yeah.
That's how bad things have gotten. And
Yes.
like when I look at Tucker Carlson, and for a lot of these people, I feel like they hate our country, which is like a sad thing. Like somehow conservatives used to always be at least like patriotic or like they enjoyed America. But like when I see like Tucker Carlson doing like Russian propaganda, like look at their supermarkets and all the food. I'm like, really, dude? Or when he's interviewing people, like these are neo-Nazi conspiracies that I heard when I was like 23, right? About like, well, Churchill was the main bad guy in World War II. I was like, really? Seriously? Like this is what we're doing now?
So you're saying Churchill's the main bad guy?
Yeah, that was the big interview, I think a couple weeks ago, that Tucker Carlson got a lot of heat for. There's some like alt historian guy who's going around and he's like, it's a common conspiracy basically that like Hitler was like an aggressive leader, but like he wasn't as bad as people say. And it was actually like Churchill and America that goaded Germany on and caused a lot of the violence. And that was Tucker Carlson's huge moment, like is it like a month ago or something? Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, it was a big, yeah. And it's just,
I did ask somebody the question, I forget who it was, the other day, of like how Russia went from being the boogeyman, especially for the GOP, to being our best friend,
yeah.
which is, and by the way, with kind of unified support, which I found.
It's unbelievable. I had my parents growing up. My parents were both in the Air Force. Like 20 years. My mom flew. The mission was called the Looking Glass mission, which is where you're it's an EC-135 and you're looking for nuclear weapons to push the button to counter it. It's like, so she was like full on Red Scare, Cold War. She would call them what would she call them? Like the Red China. Oh God, she had all these nicknames that came
Sure.
from like Michael Savage and Rush Limbaugh for these like the communists and everything. And to hear her now be like, well, I don't know if Putin is that bad. I'm like, Mom, really? What the I remember my mom crying when Clinton and the Monica Lewinsky thing happened, because she's like trying to explain to me, like, Stevie, when the commander in chief acts like this towards women, that rolls down, and the way that I'm treated is not good because of Bill Clinton and blah blah blah. And when the Trump like grab him by the pussy take comes out, Mom was like, well, sometimes boys say dumb things or whatever. And it's like, Mom, what the?
Right.
Yeah.
And what was her reaction?
It's the Trump mind rat is too much. She's just like, oh, it's he shouldn't have said it. It was dumb.
Do you think that's a problem? Because, for example, I bring this up all the time, where, politics today seems like, okay, you're from Pittsburgh, I'm from Philadelphia, and I hate your team no matter. I bring it up all the time, like in soccer and football, European football. Like Scotland is always like rooting for Uruguay, or you're rooting for Brazil, and you're like, why are you're Scottish? Why are you rooting for Uruguay? So they'll beat England,
Sure.
right? And so Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and they're the twain. So I mean, it seems like Republicans and Democrats, it doesn't matter what the you say. I'm going to believe what I believe because the Philadelphia Eagles are my team, no matter what, and Pittsburgh is your team. So therefore, I hate you.
Yeah, I understand that, and that's okay to a level. But there is in older like Middle Eastern societies, there's a saying, this Arab saying, and it's me against my brother and I against my cousin and I against the world. And the idea is that like, and intuitively we all feel this, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah.
Okay, I grew up. I was a terrorist to my little sister. Okay,
Right,
I'm a
right.
big brother. That's what we do, right? But like, if somebody were to bully my little sister, what the fuck? Yeah. Or like on the internet, I might be joking with an American about how like, I come from Nebraska, you're from the coast, you, New Jersey, we more like New York, whatever, we might shit on each other. But like if a European were to show them like, yeah, New Jersey sucks, like, the f are you from? What do you mean? It's America. You. But now it feels like the allegiances are starting to bleed outside of the country.
Yeah.
Like it's very strange to, and I can argue with any conservative with this, but they'll start like alluding to like, well, I think that, and Trump has this thing where he looks up to so many dictators. There was the leak of him saying like, I want my people to act to me like how Kim Jong-un's citizens treat him.
He wants parade.
Yeah, military parades, or I'm getting saying good things about me from Viktor Orban, or I like how Putin does this, and then I'm seeing these conservatives like say these great things about these other countries. Like, what the f does Russia do better than the United States? That you have so much respect for them, and it'll be like, well, at least they don't have trans athletes. They're like, come on, really? This is our center issue right now, and that's crazy to me. The foreign allegiance, but there's a lot of other stuff that probably plays into that too. Yeah.
Yeah, Russia, that was surprising. I mean, Putin
unbelievable.
Yeah.
If you grew up as an old, and also the Gen Zers don't understand. Again, growing up with parents that like were clearly coming off that Cold War high, and the Gorbachev tear down this wall, like the epic defeat of the Soviet Union, the '91 or whatever. To ever hear my parents saying good things about Russia, I'm like, no shot. There's no way. My mom would talk to me about the Bay of Pigs and these horrible evil communists, and they're trying to destroy, and it's like, what? Yeah, I don't know. It's wild.
Yeah, I got into the School for Soviet and East European Studies. It's a very difficult school to get into, and like I think halfway through my first year, might have been my second year, it went away. So I was sort of like very tuned into that Cold War and the politics around it, and then it went away. So I actually went there. I went to go live in Eastern Europe and traveled around Russia during that time, and it was a eye opener. And to see that change, I believe it was crazy. Anyway, now,
just on that too, just as a quick thing.
Yeah,
like,
go. I'm going to look here, but
that
doesn't mean you're not scintillating. And
this country is so cool. We do so many things so well, and the opportunities that exist. One quote that I really like: America has a lot of problems. We all agree with that. There's a ton of issues, but I believe this: America allows you to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
That if you're ambitious, you can be successful in ways that you could never be in another country.
Yes.
And there's a reason why, as much as I hate him now, Elon Musk came to America to do Tesla, to do SpaceX. There's a reason these people come to this country to do this.
I'm an immigrant.
Sure, yeah.
I came here with no shoes, and I was the ambassador for New York. It's the greatest city in the world. You can come here with no shoes. You can make anything. You can do anything. You can build anything. It's a great country.
So what do you?
I'm not debating you on that.
Yeah.
That's a great
No,
country.
I know you're not. But I'm like, all these people that are like, wow, we should be more like Russia. Like, why? What do they do that you're?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
or these other countries.
I saw the Tucker Carlson thing, but like, I mean, he's making friends with Russia. I mean, saying that a Russian supermarket's bad, I mean, it's nuts. I was talking to somebody about that the other day. I guess it was like a racial thing because, Russia, everybody's white, and so that was the thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where are we getting our facts? And like when you debate, it seems like a lot of this, I listed out all these guys, they rattle off facts. Here's this thing, and they've got their rap. And they've done it a lot of times, so they know how to say it convincingly and well and with force. And I think a lot of people just go, oh, well, Ben Shapiro said it, and he said it's 75%, and therefore it's 75%. It's always been 75%. But there seems to be your facts, my facts, and near the twain shall meet. There's the right, there's the left, and I don't know where they're coming from. And so there's no, consensus on facts.
Yeah. This is another foundational thing. So much of this, I get frustrated when I do politics because it's like there's so much groundwork. Like the difficult questions all are in learning kind of the frameworks, and then you can contextualize things.
There we go.
A fact doesn't really matter that much because a fact can be a fact. Well, it's not even so much that it can be manipulated. It can be, but true statements can lead you to untrue conclusions depending upon which selection of true statements you're taking, right? And we could think in our minds of a million different examples, right? That I could go into school and I could say students that play video games past 11:30 at night video games will rot your mind's ability to learn in school. And you can tell that because all of them do worse in their tests, right? And I could study that and find that and that may be true. And maybe I could even, destroy a pro gamer in a debate. It's like, explain how 94% of students that play video games at midnight all score in this percentile of tests compared to these students that play video games only until 7 o'clock. And they right? And these are true facts, these are true stats or whatever. But maybe somebody takes a look at this and they go, okay, these facts are true. But here's something else I discovered, okay? Like 95% of students that play video games past 11:30 p.m. Have parents that don't care how they do in school, right? So in actuality, that video game stat was kind of true, but it's not like if you took these kids and made them play less games, they do better in school. Their parents just don't care as much, right? And this type of thing is how a stat can exist and be a true stat, but because it's not properly contextualized and because people don't always understand, well, what is this stat really saying? People don't really know, like, what to make of it. A really good real life example of this is our median wages when COVID was at its peak were huge, highest median wages we've ever had in this country. And then as COVID and the lockdown started to recede, our median wages started to plummet. And when you look at that, it's like, holy shit, like something is going on. Maybe the unemployment insurance or, government, something is, we're getting. But the thing is that if you take a step back and you think, okay, median worker wages, what question are we asking here? We're looking at the median, the middle point in the data of what the wages are of all of our workers. Well, during COVID, all the service workers and the poor people, they all got laid off. Okay, so the only people working were work from homes, people that were doing much better paying jobs.
White collar.
Exactly. And so when you drop that whole lower section of your economy out, your median wages, of course, grow. And then as they start to get jobs again, even though your median wages are falling, this is really good for the economy because they're jumping back into the market, right? And you can go to like St. Louis Fed median U.S. Weekly wages. You can look at all this data, you can see it, and that it looks like something bad is happening, but it's not anything bad happening. You just have to contextualize a stat. But you can see like very quickly where you can get into trouble, like looking at numbers. You're like, oh, I don't know what I'm actually looking at.
And how do you debate people when, some of the names that we said there, when they just start rattling off facts and therefore this means this and therefore this means this, and you're just like, okay, well, no.
There's a whole, it depends on, for me, it depends on the person, it depends on the audience, and it depends on the subject, and then it depends on my mood.
Okay.
So what's going on, yeah. So that's why, like, earlier where I kind of joked where it's like, I don't know if I want to be mean or empathetic when you ask me it. Because,
but let's go through, like, okay, so it seems to me, obviously, Alex Jones you would be different than Ben Shapiro. Alex Jones seems more bullyish, and Ben Shapiro seems smarter. Jordan Peterson is different than Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
So how would you...
So, like, for instance, if I'm debating Alex Jones, okay, in my mind, he's going to be one of the most out there people. I might spend the entirety of the debate. It might be over January 6th, and it might be, hey, who was the first guy to break into the Capitol building? He's going to say Antifa, or he's going to say the cops let him in, and I'm going to say it was Dominic Spizzola or whatever the guy who was arrested. It's a Proud Boy. It's on video camera. We've got it in times. We see all of this. He's going to disagree with that, and we're going to spend 30 minutes with me repeating that same question. We need to be in the same factual reality. This is on video. We shouldn't be debating this, okay? And it will be there for 30 minutes at least, arguing that one thing. That might be how I would approach that. Like, we need to be grounded in the same factual reality before we start debating second order, third order, more abstract things.
Right. Ben Shapiro?
For Ben Shapiro, it would depend on the subject matter. I had a conversation with him earlier this year that I regret because I should have went way more aggressively. But it would probably be more of an appeal to like factual foundations to build up arguments because he's more kind of that archetype of like the facts over feelings debater.
They seem very factual.
Yeah, so I would probably fight back more on the like, hey, you're bringing up like this particular stat here. Well, what about this here? Or you might bring up this event here. You might say that Trump was good because he moved the embassy in to Jerusalem and Israel, and you may think that was a good thing. But what about when he agreed with Netanyahu to pull back all of the UNRWA funds or whatever from the Gaza Strip, and when the tensions became inflamed because he moved that embassy? Was that good? Like I might bring up
you have
like
to do a lot of research.
Yeah, for sure, for that. Yeah.
Andrew Tate.
I'm probably just going to try to bully him and make him look stupid because his whole thing is like the bravado and the masculinity. So when I argued with him on a Twitter space, he wanted to bring up Tucker Carlson leaving Fox News. And I was like, do you even know why he left? And he'd be like, well, because he was doing blah. I was like, no, you have no idea. You're an idiot. Why are you talking about this, right? It would be more I wouldn't do that with Ben Shapiro because I would look unhinged.
Right.
But with Andrew Tate, when he was all about like bravado and masculinity, then I would do it for him, yeah.
Right. And why? Like, wasn't it advertisers, Tucker Carlson? Why was he?
He left because he was intentionally misinforming the public about Dominion voting systems, and he knew he was doing it the whole time, and all the text messages that leaked showed that. And he probably left Fox News because it was a massive liability for them.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And so you have to, like, you're like Rocky. You have to sort of get all the you're training all the time. And you have to get fill your brain with all this stuff so you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Piers Morgan, I mean, he's a blowhard.
For Piers, you're not so much fighting with him. You just have to learn the format. It took me a few times to learn, but like when you're on the show, if somebody says something, you got to make the crazy facial expression so that he's like, "Well, I see you doing this," and then when you respond, you have to have snappy, punchy one-liners, maybe a joke, something to hit home with the audience. But like if I'm on Piers Morgan, I'm never saying like, "Well, you have to understand the statistical analysis of this," blah 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 blah. I'm probably gonna say something like, "If that was true, wouldn't you expect to see this, you idiot?" And that would be it, and I would get like my laugh, and that would be it. Yeah.
All right, Jordan Peterson.
For Jordan, I tried to appeal to his humanity more, where it was like, does this conspiracy really make sense, or with this whatever? I think if I were to do it now, it would be more of a similar approach to Ben, where it's like, let's just look at these facts. Like, isn't this more likely? It would be something along
He's
like
sort
that.
of changed a bit, Jordan Peterson, recently.
He has changed quite a bit over the past few years.
Found God, or was he always really religious?
He's always been he's always been pretty religious, yeah.
Do you believe that you can change someone's mind through debate?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's a varied and variable question. It really depends a lot on a lot of things.
On the person as well.
It depends on the person. It depends on their environment. It depends on who you are. It depends on the subject, right? Like we have debates all the time in our life, arguments that we're trying to convince people of things. It might be, should we do pizza or Chinese tonight, right? You can make arguments for it. It might be like, should we have a child now or in 2 years, or should we buy a house, right? You have arguments with people in your life all the time. The Founding Fathers wrote under pen names when they were doing the Federalist Papers to try to persuade the American public to join the federal government. So people will say like debating is pointless, arguments are pointless. Like they're not. Some of it is like for showmanship and some of it is dumb for sure. But that's true of everything. Some things can be stupid and some things can be meaningful. Yeah. One thing that I think people discount a lot is a lot of people's political and social beliefs are held prisoner by the people that they're surrounded with. People don't respect that force enough, right? That I'm a very independent person from my family, from communities, and everything else. I'm my own online politically. So I have the flexibility and freedom. I can have whatever opinion I want. I think that Rittenhouse should have walked. I thought that was totally fair. I think that January 6th was an insurrection. That was insane. I'm a big Second Amendment supporter, and I'm a big First Amendment supporter. Like, there's a lot of opinions that I have, but I have no social pressure on me in terms of like people that would disown me for something, right? But there might be a person where I might make the most compelling argument in the world for why the vaccine was good or the vaccine was bad, but his community, his family, and his friends might have a very strong opinion on that. And if they change their mind on it openly, they might lose that whole community of people. They're never changing their mind on that because it's too much of a risk, right? Yeah. So that's a big force that has to be respected sometimes. So when you ask me like, well, how do you persuade some people out of some things? If somebody was like a fundamentalist Muslim in a family of fundamentalist Muslims living in a community of fundamentalist Muslims or any religion, I'm never changing his mind on religion because he would lose everything if he were to acknowledge what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right.
I appreciate that, Destiny.
All right, bye. Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.